In Joshua chapter 6, after the Israelites had marched around the city for 7 days, and on the seventh day, 7 times, and they were ready to shout, and Joshua gave the orders, he said, okay, now's the time to shout. The Lord has given us the city, and we are going to dedicate everything in it to him. He also told the Israelites to remember something. Do you know what he told them to remember? Rahab. Do you remember Rahab? Joshua had originally sent some spies into Jericho to scout it out to see what they were up against. And the spies needed help when they were inside the city, and Rahab is the one who gave them help. She kept the spies hidden until the people who were looking for the spies were gone and sent them back. But before they left, she asked them a favor. She said, would you please remember me and my family and save us on the day that you come in to take the city? And they assured her that they would remember her. If I were in her position, I think it may have been easy for me to wonder if they really would. There was no way to get in touch with them. She couldn't send them a text message or connect with them on social media or get a real-time update on what the battle plans were. There was no way for her to know. She just saw the army coming, and she had to trust, or at least hope, that they would remember her faithfulness to them. And they did. And it was a reminder that God did too. That he saw her faithfulness to God's people. And he remembered. Just like he remembers yours. Being around other people is wonderful in a lot of ways. They can fill you up, they can make you laugh, they can give you companionship and comfort, and you enjoy life as you walk through life together with other people. But sometimes being with other people is hard. Sometimes your faithfulness in loving them and caring for them seems to be unnoticed, maybe unappreciated. Sometimes the things that you do day after day after day for the people that you love, because you're doing them day after day, they become just part of the daily routine. And so to them, there doesn't seem to be anything all that special about it, but there is. It takes effort and energy and a determination to be there day after day after day for your parents, for your children, for your friends, for your community, for your spouse. And sometimes they might notice and say thanks, and sometimes they might not. Whether or not they do, what Joshua did for Rahab is what God does for you. He remembers your faithfulness. Jesus himself said it. He fast forwarded to the end of the world and the time when God would gather his church up with him and to be with him in eternity. And he was anticipating that somebody would ask the question, well, do I really belong here? And Jesus said, yeah, on that day I will point to evidence that you do. He said, do you remember when you went to visit somebody who needed visiting? Do you remember when you gave a cup of water to somebody who was thirsty? Do you remember when you fed somebody who was hungry? Do you remember when you put clothes on somebody who needed clothing? Do you remember when you faithfully cared for somebody else? I remember it too. God remembers your faithfulness. And it brings him great delight to assure you that he will be faithful to what he has promised in caring for you for eternity. And faithful no matter what it costs him. Even if it means that he's the one who has to go hungry and thirsty and naked as he hangs on a cross and covers the full cost of what it would take to keep that promise. He was glad to. Because your God remembers you. And he will never forget to be there for you. Rest well tonight, my friends.